be seated. Thank you for everyone for joining us in this momentous occasion to celebrate Cohort 18's culmination of their time in the classroom and the transition to the clinic. Many hours of pain and anguish have been passed to get to this point, so we're so excited for them. I want to begin by introducing our university president. President Cameron K. Martin became the second president of Rocky Mountain University in January of 2023, Before becoming president, he worked as vice president of operations and chief of staff for the office of the president here at RMU. President Martin has an esteemed background which includes a bachelor's degree in political science, a master's degree in public administration, and a PhD in educational leadership, all from Brigham Young University. He and his wife, Julie, have 3 daughters, and we're excited to have him speak first for us. Please join me in welcome President Cameron Martin.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And it's great to be with you. Congratulations, you made it this far, right? You're getting there. You want to step? Yes, let's hear it. Yeah, this is a celebration. Celebration. Yeah. Well, congratulations on making it this far. You have a lot ahead of you that's quite exciting. And this is an inflection point that you need to remember and treasure and use that as a boost to carry you forward to the next adventure. And soon you'll be graduated and out in the marketplace and doing good. In fact, my wife spent 4 hours today with her physical therapist. And if I didn't get the bills, never mind. I'm glad she's not here because I would be in trouble. But anyway, she really did, and I've been blessed by those who know your craft personally. But today, you didn't come to hear me talk about or ramble things on, but I do have 5 things I want you to remember. Can you count to 5? You can. I know you can. Can you remember these 5 things? I know you can too, because as you're gonna hold your finger up on each one of these as I go through them quickly, and it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you on your journey. First of all, I want you to remember your why. Put your thumbs up on it. Come on, get your thumbs up. I want you to remember your why. Why you chose this profession. Do you remember? Is that too far long ago? Why you chose this profession, okay? The second, I want you to remember what it's like to be a patient, right? And to treat those you'll be treating the way you would want to be treated. In fact, I want you to remember that, well, let's go back on the patient. It may be your 20th patient of the day, but it's their first time. That's why number 1, it's your first time with you. So make it meaningful, listen to them, right? Be present. Third, I want you to remember and trust your training. Your esteemed faculty have done an amazing job to getting you prepared for this next journey. Trust the training. In fact, when you're in there and you're starting to scratch your head, you're like, oh, I'm holding 3 fingers. I'm trusting my training. You've been well prepared. Go with just relax, think through, go through the steps, breathe, and do, right? Now, the 4th one is important. The 4th one is to remember to say thank you. Not only to say thank you to those who've helped support you to get to this point. In fact, we should just stop and pause and put both hands together and thank your family and friends who are here. All right? So remember to say thank you, and may I invite you to say thank you to your patient, because they have a choice, and they'll if you want them to come back, well, treat them with that respect. And the 5th and final one is to remember you are the hand, thus the hand that you're holding up in the RMU logo. You are the brand ambassadors. Look at the logo on your white coat. See that hand there in the logo? Yeah, there you go. You want to do it that way? You can do it that way. But that is your hand. You are the brand ambassador. Because of what you are doing and are about to do, you will help open doors for others. You'll help incentivize others to go into the same profession. You are carrying the brand of RMU and what it means. The credibility of the institution is in your hand by how you go about doing what you're about to do as you go into your clinical experience. Remember that. Remember, it's your hand, and that you are the ambassador of RMU. And finally, in that regard, we want to hear your stories. We want to tell your stories. So as you go out and about and have these experiences, and of course, change the names of those, so protect HIPAA, but say, I had a person that, let's tell the story. So to inspire the next generation of physical therapists. That'd be cool? Be part of that process. Anyway, remember the 5 things, right? To remember your why, remember what it's like to be a patient, remember and trust your training, remember to say thank you, and remember you are an RMU ambassador, and we thank you for that. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, President. We want to extend a warm welcome to all the family and friends, because we know that without your support, they simply would not have made it through semester 5, as they will tell you. Seated up here along with President Martin is our Dean, Dr. Jeff Lau, who is also one of our faculty, and our program director, Steve Wilkinson. And on behalf of them and all of our esteemed faculty, we just really want to welcome everyone to celebrate this wonderful event. To give you a little bit of context of what will happen next is we allow the students to select one of the faculty to talk about the significance of the white coat, and then we also allow them to select one of their peers. Although I'll be grading their exam later tonight, they did not pick Dr. B. Thank you. But they picked Dr. Roger Purcell, and you'll see why in just a moment, as he'll share with us kind of the symbolism of the white coat and a few words of wisdom before you embark on your clinical internships. Dr. Purcell.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be with you tonight. I want to welcome your family and friends who have made it possible for you to be here as well. So I think they deserve another round of applause. So, congratulations on making it this far. I'm really excited to share a few of my thoughts tonight about the white coat, but also about all of you, because this is my favorite part of being here, is just looking at all your faces and thinking of all the memories of all the times that we've had together during the program. So before I get into talking about the white coat, I would like to just take a moment and reflect a little bit on the things that you have overcome to get here. I've watched as many of you have gone through the program overcoming all kinds of obstacles, chronic pain, family illnesses, even loss of loved ones. And you guys have gone through this and done it with professionalism, poise, dedication. I mean, all those things are hard to go through all by themselves, and you guys did it while going through this rigorous program. I'm just honored to know you. I think it's a wonderful thing that you've accomplished. So I wanted to mention that first. Now, on a slightly lighter note, some of you have gone through other, maybe more subtle challenges to get here. Aging is a real problem. Where are you, Channing? Sorry, I couldn't resist. I was actually one of the older students in my cohort when I went through PT school, so I've got you, man. Got you. Many of you have also struggled through the program wondering if you're going to be confused for someone else. Zach. See if it'll go. There we go. Bailey. Michael. There are a couple of you that could get confused for each other just because you're never seen apart. So, Laurel, Sophie, Sorrel, Lofi, I don't know. And then I should give a maybe honorable mention to Stephen and Stephen, even though one goes by Joe. So, anyway, I guess I should stop having fun and talk about what I was supposed to talk about. There they are. Sorry, this clicker's not working very good. So I got to know you guys in semester 1. And that's one of my favorite things about teaching in semester 1 is that I get to see the changes that happen over, 2.5 years. Right now we're ending semester 5 into semester 6, and you guys have been doing this for, what is that, almost 2 years? And I've seen huge changes. So maybe that first semester you felt like one of these little guys, just looking at this big project and going, wow, I feel small and young and inexperienced, and I don't know if I should be here. And I saw that the first semester, but it didn't last very long. And you guys started gaining your voice and started to be confident, and it's so cool to watch. So I want you to take a moment tonight at some point and think about how you felt that first semester, and then compare it to how you feel now. And I think you'll see confidence. I think you'll see a big change in your self-image, in your confidence, in your skills, and your abilities, and your knowledge. I know I see it, so I hope you do too. Let's talk about the white coat. So, why a white coat? Back in the 1800s, physicians wore black, and it was kind of a symbol of the formal, solemn nature of their visit. Their visits often precluded death because the medical field just hadn't progressed to where they could successfully treat disease. So these doctors were in there with their black coats. Then in the late 1800s, biological scientists who wore white coats discovered bacteria and how to treat it, how to get rid of it. And medical physicians embraced that and went, hey, this is a good way for us to enhance our practice and elevate it. And so they embraced the cleanliness and the purity of this new discovery. And they also embraced the white coat. So they started wearing white coats as a symbol of their new focus on cleanliness. So that's kind of the history of the white coat. But what does it mean for us today? What do we wear? I've never worn a white coat to work. Yeah, spoiler alert. I've worn a military uniform. I've worn gym clothes before to work, which is pretty awesome. My favorite, though, was scrubs. I loved wearing scrubs to work, pajamas every day. That was great. But I've never worn a white coat. So why do we use a white coat? Well, it is a symbol. And it can be a symbol of different things to different people, right? So tonight, I'm going to share a few thoughts to maybe stimulate your thinking about what the white coat could mean to you. Because I don't want it to mean the same thing to you as it does to me, but maybe what I say tonight will help you kind of think about what it could mean to you. So that's where we're going with this. So why white? What was wrong with the black coats? You guys know I like to go snowshoeing and hiking in the mountains. A couple of years ago, I was snowshoeing, and this is actually where I went. And there was like a foot of new snow. It was beautiful. And I was making new tracks. Nobody had been there, and it was just pure white. And I just got mesmerized. I was staring at the snow, and I thought about when I was probably in junior high when I learned this science class. And I learned that white is a reflection of all of the colors in the spectrum. And so today I'd like to focus on those two characteristics of white, that it is a reflection and that it's inclusive of all the colors in the spectrum. So let's start by talking about reflection. I think reflection can be a tool we can use to really elevate our practice, but also to make us better people. It can happen on a personal level and a professional level, and I think it should. So on a personal level, it'll make us a better human being. On a professional level, it'll make us a better clinician. So I'd like to engage in just a little bit of reflection on some of the changes that I've seen in you guys over the last, I don't know, what has it been? 6 semesters, 5.5 semesters. Think about that first Kines 1 practical. Guys were all super nervous, right? A couple of goniometric measurements, a couple of manual muscle tests, and you're freaking out. What if I were to ask you to do that right now? In my sleep, right? Most of you, somebody's like, oh, I should practice that. Yeah. But you could do it, right? It's no problem. And it would make you nervous at all. I've watched you guys do it in the CRC tons, so not a big deal. Speaking of the CRC, I remember second semester when, I don't remember who it was that came in to promote the CRC and get you guys to volunteer. I was watching the class, and I definitely saw fear in some eyes thinking about going to the CRC. And now, some of you are running the student-run pro bono clinic. Many of you have volunteered there, and I've watched you go in and just walk in and evaluate a new patient without even thinking twice. It's just a nature, your second nature now. What a change. That's a huge evolution. And then finally, talking about seeking feedback, this is another thing that I've just noticed about you guys. Early on, first semester, remember when I said no, there's no bad question? And still you were like nervous to raise your hand, nervous to answer a question, maybe a little fearful of being wrong. And now you've found your voices. You are seeking feedback. You're asking for that critical feedback. You want to improve. You're challenging things. You're questioning things. What a difference. You're clinical reasoners. You know, it's so exciting to see. And you're even involved in research and presenting research at national conventions. Pretty cool. So I wanted to mention these things because you've made big changes over the last 5.5 semesters. And sometimes it's hard for us to see those changes because we're in our own skin every day, right? So we don't see the changes because it happens so incrementally. But tonight, I'd like you to take that long look and look back at yourself at first semester and compare it to now. And I think you'll see what I've seen, lots of big changes. So what does this look like if we want to be reflective people and reflective practitioners? Well, as humans, we can ask ourselves questions like, well, did my actions reflect my values? Did my words reflect my true intentions? You know, things that will help us reflect on how we act, what we say, what we do, and does it reflect who I want to be? And that will make us a better human being. On a professional level, we can ask questions like, what went well? What didn't go so well? What can I improve on? You know, those kinds of questions will stir us up and help us start thinking of ideas of how we can do things better for the next patient. So I think self-reflection is a great practice to get in the habit of doing, both professionally and personally. Inclusivity. That's the other characteristic of white that I wanted to mention tonight. So again, white includes all of the colors in the spectrum. If one color is not being reflected, then it's no longer white. So how does that apply to us in physical therapy care? I think a lot of us, you know, we're going to be working with patients, with colleagues, with front desk people, with janitors, with aides, with physicians, with PAs, you know, the list goes on and on. Are we going to be the practitioner that makes all of those people feel safe around us, feel protected, feel important, and feel included? That's what I think the white coat should symbolize for us in that realm. So if we can take a look at our own biases, which again, that's going to require self-reflection. We've got to look at ourselves and go, what are some of the biases that I have that could make me not treat someone the best way possible? So there are many ways that we could do that. Age, race, sexual orientation, how the list goes on and on, religion, you know, anything that where our patient or our colleague or the janitor, you know, the list goes on, any of those people who have one of those characteristics different than us, we have the potential for a bias that could change how we treat them. So I challenge all of us to take a look at our own biases and see if there's something that we need to change in ourselves so that we will be inclusive in how we treat everybody around us. A quick story about this. Well, first, yeah, I'll tell this one and then another one. You know how I work. I am always thinking about. Anyway, can't make up my mind. So there was an ER doc at Johns Hopkins. He was an attending, and he tells the story of one of his residents. So this patient comes in. The patient, Mr. Jackson, we'll call him. He was a frequent flyer. He had been hospitalized numerous times for conditions related to his alcoholism. And this attending did a screen and said, yeah, he needs to be hospitalized. And he assigned the admission to one of his residents, Dr. Jones. And the resident, Dr. Jones, was heard complaining loudly that she had to spend all this time on this patient whose problem was, after all, self-induced. And so the attending stopped her and said, hey, you did not become a physician to judge your patients. You became a physician to help them heal. And if you can't tell the difference, you don't belong here. And she quickly changed her tune and provided really good care for Mr. Jackson that evening. I think that's just a good illustration of a simple bias that physician didn't realize that she had until it came out in a not so great way. So again, the importance of self-reflection to recognize those things before they manifest themselves as behavior, right? The other story is something that I just heard a couple weeks ago. This is about one of your classmates who's here tonight. So there was a student in our program who was struggling to pass some classes and was worried about making it through a semester. The student approached one of your classmates and asked for help. And I'm going to get emotional because it's just touched me. Your classmate offered help, and not only offered help, but said, I'm going to be there with you every step of the way. I'm going to take it to the end. I'm going to make sure you pass. To me, that is just a great example of inclusivity, because it is, you're making sure that person tracks all the way with you, and you're not leaving them behind. You're not letting them feel alone. It just made me proud to be part of this with you guys. You're just a great group of people. So, in closing, I hope you'll think about these two characteristics of the white in the white coat. Reflection, how will you be a reflective practitioner? And inclusivity, how will you include everyone around you? And then I put the question marks up there because I want you to think about other ways that the white coat might symbolize ideals that you want to focus on in your practice. I know you're going to be great. I know you're going to be amazing. I'm excited to hear about all your triumphs and successes and also your challenges and how you overcame them, because I know that's going to happen and you're going to be awesome at it. So I know you'll make us proud, and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Purcell. Dr. Purcell helps out with educating our students on patient evaluation, kinesiology, and a lot of the orthopedic content, and everyone will vouch that he's a tremendous instructor, and thank you again for those words. Each of our students, when they first arrived at RMU on that opening day, they're assigned a faculty advisor. And I have the privilege of being the faculty advisor for Christian Bentley, the student selected speaker. And it's been so fun to kind of visit memory lane with Dr. Purcell's words. They were bashful at one point. I think we've reached the juncture when they even talk back to us. But Cohort 18 really is a group with a lot of spirit and a lot of personality. We've really enjoyed getting to know them. And now we'll hear from the student selected speaker, Christian Bentley.
Love you too. All right. Let's see. I can use this, right? What do I do? Okay, perfect. So, my name's Christian Bentley. Today I get to talk about what the white coat symbolizes to me as someone receiving it today with his fellow classmates. Upon finishing writing this speech, I spent several hours and even several days thinking about what I could title it. And after long, careful consideration, I've decided to title it White Coat Ceremony Speech. And this is mainly for my brothers in school, the We Have guys. They're the main ones that were making me do this today, so I'm excited for it. As many of you know, I'm a very go-with-the-flow type of person. I'm easygoing, I do what I need to get most things done, mind my own business, and I generally enjoy most of the people around me. And I absolutely accept and love free food. I feel as though through my life I've accomplished a lot with this mentality. In PT school, we've learned to adapt our treatment based on patient responses, circumstances, and according to exam findings. Just go with the flow. As you can see from these pictures, this is what going with the flow usually feels like to me. This is me making decisions as they come, adjusting when needed, finding free food, and getting into PT school. You could just hear the Hobbit music from The Lord of the Rings in the background. But I soon found out that going with the flow in PT school looks more like this. Just go with the flow. That Hobbit music is now clearly gone. In the second week of the program, my wife and I had incredible timing in having our first child. And to this day, she still provides ear-piercing screams of joy rather than sleeping. Studying soon became my only hobby. Exams were hard, and I struggled to stay awake during class. Now this, I assure you, is due to my lack of sleep and not due to the very exciting lectures provided by our professors. The pictures were provided by Nate Walker, who obviously loves to take pictures of me while I sleep. I completely lost where I was. Okay. So during this time has been limited. I was trying to maintain a good relationship with my wife, with my family, and with my friends. We were trying to raise a baby, and all this through dedicating my time to education. And then, a few months later, I biffed it on my scooter while on the way to a physiology exam. Life felt like this tsunami. As much as I love going with the flow, I've learned that going with the flow may not always be the best approach. Sometimes we need more preparation, a set plan, and organization. We cannot simply move around with the oncoming waves that can easily overwhelm us. This? Oh. This is one of our good classmates, Zach. He's a great guy, excellent PT, and a great athlete. Despite all that's going on in the background, he has likely just strained his hamstring, just like normal. This is another example. At first glance, you might think this is our good classmate Channing. Channing, just like the guy in this picture, will probably likely try surfing during a tsunami. But another thing about this is that he's not afraid to attempt something difficult and confront a challenge head on. How many times have we seen Channing volunteer for a question, raise his hand, or make a comment? Believe me, it's been countless times. Because through attempting the new and challenging circumstances, he knows that he's going to learn and benefit from it. He might fail, but he also might accomplish something great, or something average. This tsunami, that's too fast. This tsunami analogy is what the white coat means to me. A reminder of all the difficult things that we are capable of doing and what we have accomplished up to this point in our career. PT school has been filled with late-night study sessions, over-caffeinated individuals, mostly Gerald, stressful practicals, meals consisting of candy and gallon bags of M&Ms, stellar football turkey bowls, and self-taught understanding and diligent practice of malingering. It's also been filled of Gage asking random questions to make it seem like he's paying attention. But most importantly, it's been full of meaningful transitions towards becoming a skillful practitioner and professional. We are capable of these sometimes unbelievable tasks. We all took the risk of jumping into PT school with the chance that we would fail some things, put pause on life events, make mistakes, and very likely in our cohort, embarrass ourselves. But now we've finished our graduate classwork. We've made it to this point, and we are better people because of it. And that's worth celebrating. Along with that, our field requires us the ability to go with the flow, but also to have structure and preparation to our practice. One of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite books that has truly impacted my life in recent years is a question asked to one of the characters of the book as they compare life to a journey. The question is, what is the most important step a man can take? And I want you to think of what your first initial answer to that question might be. All of us have experienced important moments in our lives that have impacted us profoundly. Some of our first steps have dictated where we are today, and our last steps often represent what kind of life or practice that we've lived. So which step is the most important? The conclusion drawn in this book is that the most important step we can take is always the next step. Each of us went through the tsunami of PT school. We each had our individual challenges. Some of us have dealt with hard relationships, death and sickness in the family, trouble at home, failed or poor exam performance, and generally feeling overwhelmed. I wasn't the only one who had a child during school, and some of us already had children to begin with. We've even had several baby announcements during school. You could say that our cohort is fairly fertile, but not with each other. Well, there is one couple. I don't think they're expecting. Anyways, some of us have had exciting news, such as marriage, passing physiology, moving into a trailer, and family recovering from detrimental illnesses, new relationships, and finding out that there's free food in the break room. All of us worked through each step of the way. Despite the circumstances, we kept taking that next step. It doesn't matter if we failed in the past or if we've succeeded, because if we stop there, that becomes our destination. So the next step forward becomes the most important step that we can take. This is why the next step is the second example of what the white coat means to me. My commitment to continue to move forward, being a lifelong learner in the field. A reminder to continue to learn the best I can to best treat my patients. That when I fail in my practice or feel that I have come short, that I can make that next step count to get to where I want to be. All of you have been doing it during PT school, and I've seen it. So I encourage us all to give value to that next step as we continue into our clinical education. This is an exciting day. Today marks a significant step forward, a transition to the theoretical world as we finish our didactic work into the practical realm of patient care. We may be even as content and excited as the flashcard salesman when he sees Wyatt Hayes step up to his shop. The flashcard salesman knows that he's going to make a substantial profit because Wyatt, he makes flashcards for flipping everything. In fact, we should probably check him right now. He's probably written Dr. Purcell's speech word for word from his secret sock stash of flashcards. Where is he? There he is. Wyatt actually represents some of the values that I think the white coat represents to me. Dedication to getting better. Dedication to detailed work, to knowledge, to patience, and dedication to our practice. This may look like spending lots of time making masses and masses of flashcards, but it can also be spending time practicing, challenging yourself, and finding ways to improve your efficiency. We all have dedicated our efforts to this profession, and we can best represent it through continual improvement to our craft. We all know that when we are experiencing confusion in class, a lot of us will look over to Josh's spot in the room and quietly wait, hope, and pray that and expect him to come up with a quick, simple summary of what was just said. Then we'll see him sit back and sip his Stanley Cup water jug with a look on his face, all proud, knowing we all needed that summary. We won't always have Josh to help summarize complicated topics. We won't always have Bailey, the not so nice, but full of great other qualities Bailey, and her clarifying questions. We won't always have Mel's attempts to quietly whisper the right answer during class. And thankfully, we won't always have future Dr. Hanovan to set such a high bar. Consequently, our individual dedication to our own learning will be important as we continue into our career. And that is also what the white coat represents, our dedication to our profession, to our patients, and to lifelong learning. Most of us will likely not wear our white coats often after today, and that's reasonable. But it can still have value, because some things hold worth based on the value we individually give it. In the end, the white coat could represent something very different, unique, and individual to each of us. For some, it can represent their work completed in school, their promise to become a better PT daily, and the immense power you get when you throw it around your shoulders, or commitment to lifelong learning. For our single cohort members out there, you know who you are, Stephen and Wyatt. It could be listed as proud owner of PT White Coat on your Tinder and Instagram accounts to help attract a possible future significant other. And hopefully they stick. On behalf of the cohort, I would like to thank all of the professors and the staff for guiding and helping us get to this point in our education. We've truly learned a lot from you all. I'd like to thank the spouses, significant others, again, if applicable, and any other family for their support for each of these students. And the children, even though they were likely an extra obstacle and kind of counterproductive during our time in PT school, they provided extra drive and meaning to our efforts. To my fellow classmates, I could roast compliment you all day, each and every one of you, if time permitted. But nonetheless, congratulations to each of you. I hope your journey in physical therapy is filled with purpose, growth, and the profound satisfaction of changing people's lives. To the 90% of us that failed our first job counter offers for being too aggressive, the sky's the limit. Let's keep that confidence, keep shooting high, and like Grace's personality, go big or go home. To sum up my words for today, for me, the white coat represents that time I fell on that scooter. It symbolizes the trials I overcame, the hard work I completed. Wow, weird. And what I'm capable of doing looking forward. That there will be times to go with the flow, but also times to have a plan, structure, and preparation to my practice. It symbolizes the next step to moving forward in life, toward clinical education, and to value each next step. And lastly, a promise of dedication to my practice, patience, and lifelong learning. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, future Dr. Christian Bentley. He could compliment and roast the faculty all day, too. So if you ever want to catch up with him about a certain turkey bowl situation where he was guarding a bald 44-year-old professor and got burned, he can tell you all about it. Cohort 18 really has been a pleasure to spend time with. We'll now proceed as the students line up to present the white coats. It's always a fun time for us. As you can see, the faculty are wearing the white coats, and as we give them their white coats and help them put it on, it will kind of symbolize that transition, as Christian mentioned, from the classroom to practicing clinical practice. Christian Bentley. Meg Manning. Nicole Horn. George Liu. Sophie Britton. Carolina Kreipel. Alexis Bryant. Stephen Yang. Justin Brandt. Wyatt Hayes. Madison Hansen. Rochelle Culp. Crystal Franco Granados. Jeffrey Tabinas. Jacob Grosbeck. Ethan Plager. Brett Makowski. Ethan Glade. Apollo Miller. Melissa Mangello. Michael Hannafin. Sabrina Crandall. Chet Hervey. Joe Balls. Amy Hale. Kari Johansson. Laurel Goodpasture. Channing Christiansen. Zachary Kinsolving. Race Sickinger. Zachariah Stepp. Ryan Selfeisen. Joshua Bruff. President Cassidy Irvin. Peyton Kimber. Wesley Leffler. Angel Lomelli. Carson Poach. Bailey Sturm. David Holloway. Gage Manzione. Nathan Walker. Gerald Verena. Radhika Roach. Michael Colson. Alexander Vanderholm. Bailey Mortensen. Lindsay Bourne. Colton Boyd. Madeline Palmer. We'll now invite one of our own DP alumni from Cohort 6, Dr. Crystal Miskin to lead Cohort 18 in the physical therapy oath now that they're donning their white coats. Dr. Miskin.
Please rise. Please raise your right hand to the square and repeat after me. As a student physical therapist, I pledge. As a student physical therapist, I pledge. To pursue knowledge with diligence. To pursue knowledge with diligence. Treat all with respect. Treat all with respect. And strive for excellence in both study and practice. And strive for excellence in both study and practice. I commit to collaboration. Integrity and compassion. Dedicated to promoting health and enhancing lives. Thank you. You may be seated.
Is it feeling real yet, Cohort 18? We'll conclude today's ceremonies hearing from our DPT Program Director and Department Chair, Dr. Stephen Wilkinson.
You look good. So, this is a big day for you guys. Almost finished with classes, right? A couple more days, is that where we're at? Yeah. And now the easy, I don't know if I could say that. Is it the easy part or the hard part coming now? Probably a little both. I was going to tell President Martin that I have one thing for you to do, not 5. But he had to leave, and so I can't rub it in his face that I'm a little more efficient than he is. No, it's actually that he's 5 times smarter than I am. So anyway, we've heard a lot of really cool things. Sophie, should I say your no, I'm just going along with what, anyway. And I learned about Gage asking questions, I didn't know that he did that. And so it's a lot of fun to learn a little bit more about you. I echo Dr. Purcell's thoughts because I was having the same kind of thing, thinking about semester 1. And, the excitement and the terror that you had, that I think you still have the excitement. And I hope you never lose that. You still have a little terror. And that's okay. That's kind of a good thing, really. But you're ready to go. Here's what I've been thinking about this morning is you've been going through this journey with the same 50 folks by your side. That goes away a little bit in a couple of weeks here. And, on the one hand, it's sad and scary, but on the other hand, now's your chance to kind of fly without having to rely on Josh to give the summary. Now you've got to do it. So while this is a happy moment, I don't know why I do this. It drives my wife crazy. I try to look at things from all sides, and so let me just say that I've loved my career, and most of my days have been happy, but you're going to come into some days that are going to be hard. And those days are going to be so hard you'll be wishing that you were back in semester 5. No, too early, yeah, too soon. But you might. So I have this one thing that was told to me when I was leaving my PT school, and I like to pass this on to you, and that is, and I'm going to challenge everybody to do this if you haven't already, but you guys in particular. I was told to make a happy file. And what's a happy file? Well, it's when you're going to have patients in the next few weeks to months and throughout your career that will give you a token of their gratitude. They'll write you a note. And so I challenge each of you to make a happy file. And when you get something of merit, something meaningful from somebody, throw it in that file and then forget about it. The great thing about the happy file is when you do have your bad days, which you will, you can get in that file and be reminded of a difference that you've made somebody's life. So I've done this for a long time. And I went to one of my older files and I pulled out a note from one of my patients, and I'm paraphrasing, but she had, I try to connect with my patients, and it's hard on me when I don't. She was one that I never felt like I connected with. And in a lot of ways, I felt like I failed. But upon her discharge, she handed me a nice note. And with essentially telling me thank you for listening to her and believing in her and making a difference in her life. And so the reason I bring up this story is you never know when you're going to be influencing somebody's life. And in this case, I felt like I had failed. I mean, she did better, don't get me wrong. It's how I connected with her, but I connected with her nonetheless, and that was very meaningful to me. And so I hope you go home, and I should make this an assignment. This is your final assignment here. but do it. And you may not get a note tomorrow, and you may not get one the next day, or maybe a month, but you'll get one. And then you can return to that when those days are not as happy, when they get hard. And they'll help you remember why you're doing what you're doing. You guys are great. I can't believe it's been 2 years here. It's amazing. I don't know who I was talking about this with, how I was in our leadership meeting, how I was like, when am I ever gonna stop being amazed by how time flies? I keep saying that over and over again. Wow, it's amazing. But it truly is. And guess what? You'll be gone and you think, oh, I still have a year left. You'll blink and it will be over with. And then, you know, we've already seen your progression. We see, I don't know, double or triple that in the next year here. You come back, still great people, but even greater. It's so, you know, you guys don't get to see it like we do. But go out, have fun, get greater, make a happy file. We all love you. I love you. Remember, sorry, I keep saying one more thing. This is really the last thing. Tying it back to the beginning. You went through this thing together. You're splitting up now. Know that we're all here for you still. We still want to answer questions. We want to brainstorm with you. We want to help you through. That's what enriches our lives so much. So thank you for giving us the opportunity. Don't forget about us when you're out crushing it. Okay? With that said, I bid you all a farewell. Thank you all for coming tonight. We have some refreshments. Thank you to IT and events for helping us out, putting this all together, guys taking pictures, etc. Drive safely, and we'll see you soon.